So happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you too. How are you? A lot of solopreneurs, I think, don't take the time to really do their forecasting and really see where am I going. I know I mentioned on our last call, I was talking about our financial model that we use with clients, the Greg Crabtree's Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits. And yes, the book that you, it makes me so happy. Yes, yes, yes. I just got off the phone on a finance review with a client. They're a solar company. They do solar installation. And we were reviewing their labor efficiency ratio straight out of Greg Crabtree's book. They have direct labor and then they have management labor. And so we were looking at their trend line for their labor efficiency ratio. And, you know, it just amazes me. This is why I love that book so much, is because if you look at the chart that I put together for them, labor efficiency ratio tracks, and it happens to be declining, we're working on that, tracks exactly correlated to their net income, 1-to-1. It's just fascinating. It is, and I tell customers it's the one metric, if you have employees, that you should track for profitability. It's the number one indicator of profitability.
I'm gonna read that.
Yes, yes.
Person. To be honest, I have the book. I think I haven't gotten past the first chapter yet.
It's wonderful. When you have time, and I'm a big believer in I go through droughts where I'm not reading because I can't absorb or I'm not in that space. When you're in the space, so good.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will share with you our approach and kind of how this is more of our, I guess I say our approach. It's like when I'm doing a discovery call with clients, this is kind of what I take them through, how we work. So everything we talk about with our customers has to do with their journey, recognizing that when you decide to open your business, you are setting out on a journey. And, our goal is to help plot the course, avoid the construction, all of those things. So when we meet with customers, the first thing we're going to do is talk about, tell me about your business. We've worked with a lot of business owners, but I always like to hear from the business owners, what they do, who's their customer, and then any opportunities and challenges that they're facing. Most of the customers that we work with are coming to us because there's usually a pain point, as you can imagine. Every once in a while, we get somebody that just needs a new bookkeeper. But most of the time, it's because they've been told, they need to hire somebody. They're leaking cash. They're not sure. They want to hit 1 million. They need somebody to help them grow. So we really talk about the opportunities and challenges, and then the goals that they have in the short term and the long term. So really just a big picture of where they're at and where they're trying to be. Our approach is really the small business financial journey. So we operate in 3 phases. One is organization. The next is optimization, and the last is acceleration. And so in organization, we're really making sure that this is all about their financial record keeping and their bookkeeping and how their financial ecosystem is currently structured. So are you paying attention to, really it's about compliance, right at organization, it's you doing the basics that you need to be doing to stay compliant with all the tax regulations for your industry or your company. Are you paying your payroll taxes on time? And then are you able to develop a very basic profit and loss statement or balance sheet to see where you, in hindsight, how you performed historically? So organization, a lot of companies will come to us, and believe it or not, they've hit 1 million, 2, 3. We've had $15 million companies come to us, and they are still in this phase. They have not figured out how to move out of kind of the financial chaos. They've just accidentally been successful, but their books are a mess and they're not telling them anything. So we start here. Most businesses don't think we never want to stay. It's the underpinning of everything we do. We have to stay organized financially, but we don't want to stay in that phase with our clients. Most of the clients, we want to help them move forward. So optimization is the next phase. And at this phase, what we're doing is we're looking into the company to see how are you using? How are you handling your bill payments? How are you handling your receivables? How are you invoicing your customers? What are your terms with your suppliers? All of those things that have an impact on, are you operating effectively from a financial standpoint? At this phase, it might be onboarding. We can take most of our clients, to be perfectly honest, we spend a lot of time here. This is where we onboard them to new tools. We might move them from writing checks to paying through an AP dashboard or ACH, right? It could be little things like that. It could be time savers. It also could be they have an operational system that they're using to run the company, but that system's not talking to their financial system. How do we get these to speak the same language? Your financials don't look like they need to look. They're not talking the language of your business. We need to redo this. So there's a lot of things we can do at the optimization stage, and it really just depends on the client need, but everything that we're doing is to move them toward acceleration. And acceleration is scaling, it's growth, it's moving them in the direction of their goals. And more importantly, we have a look forward to predict performance, right? Instead of looking backwards, which we can also look to see how are we performing currently, but can we predict how we're going to perform going forward? What if I hire the salesperson? What should the return on that investment be? All of those things happen at the acceleration phase. So acceleration tends to be an iterative process with businesses. So we'll get organized, we'll optimize the current environment, we'll start accelerating, and then there'll be an inflection point where we might need to re-optimize or redo something, and then inflection point. So it can be iterative, but that's the thing that we want to take them through. And then at each of those levels, just kind of what I walked you through, these are some of the things tactically that we can do at this level. Organization can be simply moving you from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. It can be cleaning up, catch up, getting things entered. It's really about compliance at this phase. Are you just really doing what you need to do to stay current? Did you file your 1099 report? So really our hindsight, did we do everything we needed to do? Could we file a tax return today if we needed to? And do I understand the health of my business, right? Can I look at the past performance and see how did I do? And then optimization, again, this is when we might restructure the financial statements. We might look at your financial tools and software, integrate technologies. We might do some budgeting and cash flow. Some of that comes at the acceleration phase, the scenario analysis. Really here, we're trying to look at the company and see where's the leakage, where are the opportunities for improvement, what are you really struggling with? And a lot of times at this phase, EC, we have to prioritize because we can't do it all at once, right?
I imagine.
Sometimes they need a lot. And so we have to say, okay, let's the top three, what are our top three things we want to focus on that are going to have the biggest impact towards your goals, and then we start there.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's quite an offering. Yeah.
It is, yes. And so here's where, what levers can we pull to impact performance and affect our business goals? So we're really at this phase meeting with the customer quarterly, if not monthly. Some of our customers we meet with monthly. At this point, hopefully we've developed a budget or a forecast that we can use to see how did you perform versus plan. We're doing some cash flow outlook and maybe some job or project costing if they need that.
Okay.
And then acceleration is really when they start growing up. That's where, we probably are meeting monthly with a company that's in the acceleration phase. We might do some profitability analysis by department or service. We might be doing a 3 to 5 year strategy development. What's your exit plan? KPI analysis. All of the kind of grown up things start happening at the acceleration phase. And then that's so that we can see where are we headed? How are we performing? Have we hit our KPIs? Do I need to, where are the sticky points in the company? Is it in sales? Is it at this point we really have clear line of sight into the company financially, and we can start to see where things are. We can make positive improvements. And then I talk a little bit about us and our team and who we are. And then next steps, if they want to kind of work with us in the future going forward, we'll talk a little bit about what that looks like. And, ideally it's kind of, conversation with the customer where we're kind of walking them through this and saying, like, I have customers do a discovery call so I can them inside organization optimization acceleration. Where do you feel like you are right now? Where do you want to be? And so we'll talk a little bit about, like, okay, you mentioned organize. Like, some clients are like, I need to get organized. I don't know where anything is. It's like, okay, so that's where we are. And some clients come in and you can see, like, I had one client came to me about 3 years ago, very small, kind of solopreneur, was doing some online videos and coaching around neuroplasticity. So kind of changing your neural pathways for healing in the body and different things like this. It was her, it was all online and it was all in the cloud. And she called me because one of her posts went viral and she started getting all of these calls for her services. Exactly. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. So sometimes people will come to us and it's good problems. It's like, I'm not ready for this. I don't know what to do. I need to talk to somebody. So I try and help the client to identify, where do you feel you're at? And then that way we can kind of meet them at that stage of their journey. I will say that, in terms of how we work, I always tell customers, my job, if I'm going to serve you well, is not to meet you in your chaos. I will meet you there for a little while, but my job is to pull you out of whatever situation you're in and to move you into the right tools, move you into the right programming, get you thinking differently about your business. I'm going to ask you to change some ways that you think. So that's really important to me. You see, probably to you too as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
is it's about changing the way that clients think about their business. So I don't do my client any good if every little thing that comes up in their business, they're like, oh, I got to call Stephanie and find out what to do. I got to call Stephanie and find out what to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
My job, almost like a coach, is to teach them how to look at their business from a financial lens, how to focus on the right things so that they can make those business decisions for themselves over the long run. That's really our focus. And so if I get a sense that a customer is like, I just want you to fix it for me. I just like, can I give this to you so you'll fix it for me? I always tell the customer, we're drive-through break change. We are advisors that are here to help you change the way that you are running your business. So exactly. So our focus really is on helping them become to see their business through the lens that we do. So a lot of times I'll customers, we're going to spend the first 30 to 90 days. I'm going to be learning the language of your business, right? We're going to be learning about you and your business. And after 90 days, you're going to start learning the language of my business. You're going to start talking in financial terms. And so that start to change, right? So that's our goal, is to help them move down this journey to accelerating their companies. There's a lot that goes into that in terms of strategies. We have different strategies for different clients, depending on how they're running their business. Sometimes customers, I've worked with a range of customers, from customers who are afraid to grow.
Okay.
Right? They've got some.
I've had some of those, yeah.
Like maybe it's a financial watermark that they are just scared to like go above. I've had some of those clients. I've had clients that feel entitled that needs to be serving them and their family and their income. And it's a very we have to kind of change their thinking around that. Yes, the business should work for you. Yes, we want the business to support your personal goals. But if you drain the cow of all the milk and expect it to, we can work on some of that. We have some customers who are so focused on the future and selling their businesses and exit strategies and all the big, right? They're out here a million miles ahead, and they're not focused on the changes they need to make today. And they're constantly reinvesting in the business, constantly reinvesting. And so we spend time trying to figure out where they are and the type of business owner that they are, so that we can, even though we bring the same programming, it's the same programming for every customer. The way that we talk about them business and the way that we work with them is really customized depending on the type of owner that they are. So there's a lot that goes into it, but that's why we really look for people that want to partner. It's not a quick fix. We really want people who are invested in the journey. The call that I just had, I got off before talking to you, was I was actually doing a finance meeting, not with the owner, but with the leadership team. So sometimes with customers, I've worked with that customer for a couple of years. The owner is, doing ownery things, and that's okay. He's got, the operations manager and their sales manager. And so we were meeting with them to talk about boots on the ground. Let's look at how they can impact the operations of the company. And that's a good thing. That we want to be working with their team. If we're doing the right thing, we're part of their organization, right? We're almost like their outsourced finance team.
Right. You're empowering. When you talked about understanding the business owner or the team, or do you use any form of behavioral assessment?
That's a really good question. I wouldn't be opposed to pulling it into my business. We don't right now, but the longer I do this, the more I believe that. Let me put my phone on focus. It's blaring through the speaker. The longer I work with business owners, the more I start to see that it's about what you're bringing to your business. And we're all different, and we're all going to bring different strengths. And so having some kind of business profiling tool would be probably a really good thing. Yeah. I mean, I do DISC and Clifton Strengths with my team.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm curious. Do you a tool that you use?
Yeah, I use a DISC as well. So DISC, and I use a Trimetrics one, which has not just the behavioral, but it has behavioral and motivators. So what motivates? So, and then also DNA. So speaking with a prospect today, and clearly for us, it's moving her towards leadership development. And so talked about doing the DNA, which allows to the competencies, the leadership competencies.
Right.
Where they are on the competency scale, right? And then that way you can say, okay, you have some challenges in this area. That's what we're going to focus on.
Yes.
as we move forward. But yeah, so that's
Great question. And we haven't, I haven't really yet implemented in our programming any of that. I would say that level of personal, like this is your coaching style. It certainly is a good thing, and couldn't hurt because we see it sometimes before they do.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess in terms of just, when you're working with your customers, businesses that are a good fit for us are probably customers that are a good fit for you, I would imagine, because they're open change, right? They're looking to an advisor to help them grow.
Yeah.
And that's the type of mentality that we are also looking for people. You see, my personal belief is that there is really one major difference between business owners who succeed and business owners who don't, and it is willingness to change.
Yeah, that openness.
That is it. In the change in the face of, and you can apply that to changing in the face of COVID, right? And having to pivot your business.
Right.
Changing in the face of people quitting and turnover. It could be as simple as, this is your financial report and it does not look good. What are you going to change?
Mm.
Because a lot of business, I'll just sell more. That's not a financial strategy. So, those businesses that I believe are successful are the ones that are willing to change. They're willing to do different. Maybe not change, but do things differently.
Yeah, try something
new.
Give it a shot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%. That was part of my conversations in my presentation, is that there are three key things that you absolutely must have, or practices you must have in your business. One, you must do your strategic planning. Absolutely must. Like every year, your annual strategic planning, and then that fits into your quarterly, right?
Yes.
And then you will have your build the right infrastructure for it. So that's the systems, the processes, and the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the systems is where you talk about the financial system is a key component, right? And so building that is where this partnership would really work, where it's like, okay, now we're going into like building the systems, and you definitely need, so I personally say, let's start with an org chart.
Mm-hmm.
Create that org chart. Let's see what you think your business should look like if it were up like
yes.
a group company. Like, how do you want it to look?
Yes.
And then with that, you see the different roles
Mm-hmm.
that you have. You may be wearing most of it right now, but at least there's this visual that tells you that you're going to need people to fill those roles. And before you fill those roles, you have to define what they are.
Absolutely. It's critical. And we do that work with our customer. We have them send us their org chart. We have, like, if we're just doing finance work, we want to see your org chart. We want to see your growth plan. If you don't have a growth plan, let's get one. We have tools that we use. One of them is called Fathom, FATHOM. And it's a financial reporting tool that lets us create all sorts of scenarios inside their financial system. So if we have a base org chart, we can create, okay, here's today, here's a year from now, here's 3 years from now, and we can run those scenarios out. Even inside of that, we can do micro forecasts, which are, if certain things happen, we can do this. So there's a lot we can do to help customers take what they already have in their mind and then kind of remodel it based on certain performance and see, what do you need to do, right? What do you need to hit? I would say the other thing that we do with business owners because we're all very busy, is we help them focus in on a few KPIs. So if we're really talking about, if they're super busy, we can't boil the ocean, right? What are the 3 things that we need to focus on inside your financials that are going to tell us how you're performing? That if I give you this number, if I give you this number, if you see this number, good, bad, good, medium, yellow, green, yellow, red. If I say 3.1, EC, you can tell me that means I'm great. Okay. So we do that with customers, and some of that is their labor efficiency ratio. We'll determine that, and we'll help them. Okay, your labor efficiency. What was your labor efficiency ratio for August? Okay, well, it was 1.5. You're downward. So let's see, where did the leakage come from? So that's one thing that we'll do is pick a handful of metrics that are really important, that tell them something about how their business is performing, and try and keep them focused on those during stages of organizational change. Because they need to go out, we want to meet, but then they're going to go from my meeting to make 47 decisions by the time we meet again. And so I want them to feel empowered to make those decisions without, oh, Stephanie, I need to run a micro forecast. Like, we want to do that, but we also want to tell them, okay, here's the target. Here's a metric to look at to know if you're on track toward that goal. All right, now go and do things you need to do. So empowering them in that way and trying to keep it simple. for them.
Very simple. Yeah, simplifying the business very
Yeah.
well. I know we've kind of run past time. It's always wonderful to talk with you, Stephanie. I
Yes.
want, yeah, this is we definitely should have a coffee or lunch together. I'm going to be there tomorrow,
Are you? I'm going to be there tomorrow too.
and
Lunch day.
I became a member.
Yay! Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be a good one. The attorney panel should be.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's look at tomorrow and put a lunch date. We'll look at calendars and
Okay.
a date that works to connect. I'd love
That,
that.
that sounds great. Okay, have a good rest of
Okay.
your day.
You too, DC.
Let's talk soon. Bye-bye. See you soon.